Let's go! Why are my feet on fire when I ride my unicycle? Of the bottom of your feet feel like they are standing directly on top of a flaming garbage disposal while a tiny demon takes a jackhammer to your arches. You are 30 seconds into a group ride and you are already doing the awkward flamingo hop on one pedal, trying to convince yourself you do not look ridiculous. I know the pain because I am out here on these asphalt streets looking like a tap dancer having a seizure on a rolling wheel. Every single time I head out for a cruise, my nervous system gets hijacked by pure, unfiltered agony right under my toes. Here's the thing nobody tells you while you are watching those polished highlight reels online. Why does nobody warn you that floating down the street comes with a mandatory toll paid entirely in lower body trauma? Let us dive right into the trap. The absolute first problem is that your feet are clamped down like you are trying to crush a walnut with your bare heels because you are terrified of falling off. You are squeezing the life out of those pedals so hard your toes turn the color of skim milk and lose all circulation. The solution is that you have to actively remind your brain to unclench and let the weight of your body drop naturally instead of fighting the machine like it owes you money. Then you run straight into the next wall. The problem is the factory stock pedals that came on your wheel are basically narrow little slivers of cold metal designed in a laboratory to specifically torture human arches. You stand on those tiny ledges for 20 minutes and gravity turns those edges into razor blades cutting right through the bottom of your sneakers. The solution is swapping those stock metal torture devices out for wide aftermarket spike platforms that actually distribute your weight evenly across your entire sole. Next up, the struggle gets personal. The problem is your footwear is completely wrong because you thought those flat skate shoes looked cool on Instagram instead of realizing they have zero structural support. You are riding 10 miles on a flexible piece of canvas while your foot muscles desperately try to act as the suspension system for a 100-pound machine. The solution is putting on boots with a solid steel shank in the sole so your feet have a hard bridge to rest on instead of bending over every single bump in the road. Then comes the hidden trap that creeps up on you slowly. The problem is your riding stance is completely locked up because your knees are straight as telephone poles, sending every single shockwave straight down into your ankles. You are riding like you swallowed a broomstick and your joints refuse to absorb a single bump in the concrete. The solution is bending your knees into an athletic crouch so your legs act as shock absorbers and take the pressure off your burning feet. Which brings us to the deeper truth about why we keep doing this to ourselves. The problem is we all buy these electric unicycles looking for that pure, effortless feeling of flying through the city without a care in the world. We want to recapture that childlike freedom where everything feels possible and the daily grind cannot touch us. The solution is accepting that the pain in your feet is actually just the price of admission for finding something that makes you feel genuinely alive in a world that tries very hard to keep you sitting still. You endure the burn, you adjust your stance, and you keep rolling because the freedom on the other side of the pain is always worth every single second. Why are my feet on fire when I ride my unicycle? If your soles are currently melting into the rubber mats and you are ready to throw your entire 100-pound wheel into the nearest lake, you are standing at a red light wondering why your arches feel like someone put a blowtorch to them while you try to casually stretch your legs without tipping over. I know the exact misery because I have stood on these pedals until my toes went completely numb and I forgot what my own ankles felt like. Every single time I roll out the door, my feet start screaming at me before I even hit the second block. Here is the secret nobody drops in the comment sections when everyone is pretending riding is just pure magic all day long. Why does nobody admit that gliding down the boulevard requires you to sacrifice your lower extremities to the asphalt gods? Let us crack open the next layer of this torture chamber. The absolute problem is that you are leaning your entire body weight entirely onto your toes because you are constantly anticipating the next pothole or crack in the pavement. You are gripping the pedal edges with your toes like an owl clutching a tree branch for dear life. The solution is shifting your center of gravity backwards so your heels share the workload and your feet finally get a chance to breathe. Then you hit another brick wall. The problem is your stance is narrower than a tightrope walker because you think keeping your feet glued close to the center shell gives you better control of the machine. You end up pinning your feet in a rigid box where every muscle tightens up and refuses to relax. The solution is widening your stance on the pedal so your feet sit comfortably under your shoulders and your weight distributes across a much larger surface area. Next up, the equipment betrayal hits hard. Your shoes keep sliding around, so you have to unconsciously tense every tendon in your foot just to keep from slipping off while moving at 60 miles per hour. The solution is slapping aggressive metal pins onto your pedals so your shoes lock into place and you can completely relax your foot muscles without sliding off. Then the fatigue sneaks up on you from behind. The problem is you have been riding for 45 minutes straight without taking a single 2-second break to let the blood flow back into your soles. You think you have to prove some kind of toughness badge by never stepping off the wheel until your legs turn to concrete. The solution is pulling over for 30 seconds to walk around on solid ground and shake out the cramps before the fire starts all over again. Which brings us right to the core of why we put up with this daily foot barbecue. The problem is we live lives where we are sitting behind desks and staring at screens until our bodies forget what it feels like to engage in physical movement. We trap ourselves indoors and our joints get stiff and our muscles lose their natural resilience. The solution is realizing that the burning sensation in your feet is actually just your body waking up from a long sleep and learning how to adapt to a brand new skill. You adjust your posture, you upgrade your gear, and you keep pushing forward because the feeling of conquering the pavement makes every single ache completely worth it. Thanks for watching.